What if I told you that the only thing standing in the way of you becoming a millionaire in the next 30 days is just your state of being and what you believe? Really take that in. Think about that for a second. That's what this video is going to talk about. I watched a Neville Goddard lecture, and I thought I would kind of dissect it a little bit. So I'm going to read some of the transcript a little bit, and we can kind of go into it, and maybe I can help you dissolve some of your limiting beliefs about money and about your abilities and your capabilities. So that's what we're going to talk about today. See where we can end up in the next 30 days. So my name is Samantha. I'm a therapist, and I'm doing a video every day for a year to get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety. So here we are. Still have the cat scratch on my lip. It's healing up. My little Freddy Krueger cat got me the other night and slashed me. So it's healing up. It's getting a little better. Not as painful for me to talk now. So here I am. So get your drinks, get your snacks, take a breather, take a big deep breath in for a minute and feel your body, feel the breath going in and out of your lungs. Be present with me for a little bit, just for a few minutes. Just be present wherever you are. If you're driving in a car, just kind of take the words in, take some breaths, just kind of be in your body, and just kind of be present. And I don't think we're present enough. And I think that's why we aren't millionaires in 30 days, because we're not present enough. We're just living outside of our bodies and just not really being present. We're doing too many things, and we're not just being enough. Remember, we're human beings, not human doings. So that's one thing to remember. And so, do you think you can become a millionaire in a month? This was like one of the coolest videos I had seen, because it had so many gems in it. And I really thought about, how do people do this? Because people do this. They really do. They become a millionaire in a month. I've heard people make $1 million in an hour before. So it is possible. It's just our imagination that is limiting us. So the goal of this video, even if you don't become a millionaire in a month, I guarantee you, your mindset is going to shift towards money and towards abundance in the next 30 days if you just practice these things I'm about to talk about. So it really is changing your identity to be that of a person who already has what you're wanting. So you're living from the end of already having it. You're not just thinking of the $1 million. You're thinking from being a person who has that already. So how would you think? How would you feel? How would you act and behave? How would you walk, talk, dress? Think about those things. It's mainly the thoughts and beliefs, though, that we need to change. And once your identity shifts into a new person, it's like you will not have the old thoughts anymore. And it just happens so naturally. So at first we have to be pretty deliberate and intentional, but then after a while you just shift and it just literally happens naturally. So I'm going to read some of this transcript that I transcribed, and I took a few notes. So we'll just go through this a little bit. I might stop and kind of add to this, but he said, "You will be a millionaire in 1 month, not because of effort, not because of hustle, not because of grinding, but because you will awaken to the truth. Imagination creates reality. The moment you accept this truth and live by it, your world begins to shift. Stop asking how. That question reveals disbelief. The how is not your job. It belongs to your deeper self, your subconscious. It already knows the way. Enter the end, dwell there, not in hope, not in wishing, but in full assumption that it's already done. See yourself opening your banking app and seeing $1 million. Feel it. Feel the satisfaction. Don't analyze, just accept. Do you want wealth? You don't need to chase it. You simply need to feel it's already yours. This isn't positive thinking. This is creation. The world mirrors your assumption. You are not poor trying to get rich. You're rich waiting for the world to catch up. I like that. You persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not in action, not in words. The feeling is the secret. Everything is a reflection of what you assume to be true about you. One man imagined walking into his home after work and hearing the sounds of a happy family. In reality, he was divorced and living alone, but he persisted in that feeling again and again, and weeks later, his ex-wife returned and reconciliation happened. This is not magic, it is law. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. So become that now, not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Pretend if you must, play the role, feel the freedom, the abundance, the love. Assume it so fully that the world bends to your belief. When your senses scream no, ignore them. Persist. Deny the evidence of the senses. They only reflect old thoughts. If you want to change your life, you must change your inner conversations. Speak as though you already are. Think from the end and feel it real. You don't need a job change. You don't need a new strategy. You need a new self-concept, one that aligns with the version of you that already has what you want. Walk like it's yours. Think like it's yours. Feel like it's done, and it will be. You'll become a billionaire in 1 month, not because of hustle, but because you dared to assume. Well, mic drop. I mean, that's really all you need. I don't need to do a video ever again. Literally. This was like gold right here. This right here, if just this were in like, I don't know, in a PDF or a book or whatever, like a one-page book, that's all we would need. This is true. The reason why I know that this stuff works is because I've done it before, first of all. Millions of times I have created things. We're all doing it all day long anyway. But I have created things that I didn't want. And I can trace it back to my thoughts and my assumptions every single time. And that's when I noticed, as soon as I changed my inner conversations, what I was talking to myself about during the day, what I was telling myself, and what I was assuming. So you know how you just assume things? You just think you know something. And I encourage you to think about how you may not know everything that you think you know. Like, what if everything you know now is not true? What if you could think the opposite of that? Especially when it comes to your abilities and your capabilities of making money, having a partner, getting the things that you want, and just simply feeling happy. It's like, if you just shift that awareness to the opposite and you dwell there, like he says, you dwell there, you persist no matter what. You persist in the assumption. So you decide what you're going to assume, and you only shift your belief into that area instead of where it's always focused, which is in the external 3D reality that you can see. Your attention and focus is right there. It's so real because it feels real, and you're seeing it and feeling it. You can touch it and you can taste it, whatever it is. And it's just so real that you think it's real, but also your vision is real too. You just can't see it yet. And so it's literally a shift in perception. Remember, it's like life 1 and life 2, self 1, self 2, radio station 1, radio station 2. It's all just a shift. You can either look left or right. Sometimes you have to move your body like, okay, now I'm looking left. Now I'm looking right. Now I'm looking at my vision. Oh, now I'm back to the old self again, looking at, the crappy stuff I'm seeing. It's crazy how we focus so much on what we see and not even realizing that if we just denied that for a little while and we said, no, I'd rather be focused on my $1 million that I'm going to have in a month. I have no idea how it's going to happen. Not my job. I have no idea what circumstances are going to shift to make this happen. No clue. No clue. I'm just going to assume that's already done. What would that feel like? The reason why we don't get the $1 million in a month is because we do not stay there long enough he says, persist and it will harden into fact. So we don't persist long enough. We don't stay in that assumption that it's already done. We stay in the assumption of it's not done because everything around you is indicating it's not true. So we believe what we think is true, right? It's showing us our bank account has $10.08 in it. How could it have $1 million? We just see the truth. We assume that that's true. What if we started assuming that this is true over here and our vision is true? And when I started to think that way, I was like, wow, I've heard this 1,000,000 times over the years, but it finally sunk in a couple years ago. And it sinks in every time that I talk about this on these videos too. Every day I get better and better at it. And that's something else I want you to say to yourself. Every day I get better and better. Every single day I get better and better. No matter what, I get better and better and better. Every day. Doesn't matter what it looks like. I'm getting better every day. I always get what I want. Abundance is all around me. I am abundance. Say things like that to yourself. You have to start shifting the way you talk to yourself and the way that you think. You do not want to think like the world. Do not be like the world. Be like you. What do you want? It does not matter what everybody else has or what they don't have. What they have does not indicate anything in your life. Does not indicate any result that you're going to get. Remember, become your own evidence. You create your own study results. You be your own one-person study. Collect your own data. Look at your data, no one else's. No one else's data matters. Only your data matters. Go there. Dwell there, like he says. Dwell in that state. What would that feel like? We don't dwell there enough. Just like I said in another video, it's like we hit the gas and then we hit the brake. And then we hit the gas and then we hit the brake. Well, what does that create? You're stuck in one spot, or you're inching forward just a little bit. Or we could look at it like, you hit the gas, and then you stop, and you put it in reverse, and you go backwards. And then you stop, and then you hit the gas, and you go forward. It's like you go back and forth so much that you're either stuck in one spot, or you're inching forward, and it's taking like 25 years to get the thing that you're wanting to get. So think of you like that. You're either hitting the gas, or you're hitting the brake, or you're hitting the gas and going in reverse. You got to switch gears. You got to switch your gears. Hit the gas. You don't need to brake. What do you need to brake for? Because it's safe. Because our comfort zone is safe. Why would we think that we could be happy all the time? Oh man. Why would we think that we could not be happy? We believe we can't be happy. We believe we're not deserving. We just go back to default programming and the patterns from the past. We go back to the old self. That's all that is. That's old self thinking. You've got to think from the new self. What does the new self want? If you could be limitless. This video, becoming a millionaire in 1 month, that is like super outlandish. That's why I kind of chose this to talk about today, because I think like that. I'm like, what could I do? And I saw this, a couple of my mentors, I saw them in some classes that I had bought back, I don't know, it was probably last year. And they were literally talking about how they made $1 million in an hour. And I was like, whoa, that you can actually do that. And so this month thing is really nothing when you think about it. We just are so stuck in like, what do I make per hour? And how many hours do I need to work to make this money? And it's crazy how we put so much limitation on everything. Stop thinking hourly. You don't need to know the how. We do not know what's going to happen. You do not know who you're going to meet. You do not know who you might meet this person and they know somebody else that knows somebody else that knows somebody else that has an opportunity for you that you didn't even think about. Or you'll wake up with $1 million idea tomorrow morning. Or you'll decide to meditate finally for 20 minutes and you're like, oh my God, I just thought of this. And then if you just follow your passion, follow that little bit of excitement that you have, something, even if it's just a cup of coffee, or it's going to get your mail, or it's going through a pile of mail you have, and you're like, I feel compelled to do this today. It's like those little things, those little, we could call them like stepping stones, I guess, of your day, which is your life. All the stepping stones of your day, all your tasks are your life that you're living. Every task you do, that's your life. And so think of those little tasks, those little stepping stones, as something getting you closer to this $1 million. There's something about following your excitement, following your passion with no expectation. Here's the kicker. No expectation of the outcome. So yes, we're saying $1 million in a month, but that is mostly to get you into abundance mindset, limitless mindset. What happens if you don't make the $1 million in a month, but you make 20 grand? What if you make 2 grand? What if something opens up in you that allows you to start receiving money or opportunities or gifts, or somebody just gives you a car, somebody gives you some opportunity. I got a new client out of the blue. Well, there's a few $100 extra a month. That didn't happen out of nowhere. That happened out of, I was aligned and I got the client. I got a bunch of stuff yesterday, actually. Free stuff came to me yesterday morning. And then I had somebody that I hadn't talked to in a long time. Oh, I just thought about you. And that was super cool. So it's like things just start coming out of nowhere and you never know where they're going to lead. That's what I do every day. I'm like, I wonder what email I might get today, or what text I might get today, or what I might notice outside the window today that could lead me to a thought, that could lead me to some idea, that could lead me to the $1 million. That's how this goes. If you just let go and allow, just let go, surrender, turn your mind over to the quantum field, close your eyes, take some breaths, be in your body, and then let go. Tell yourself, I'm going to notice these thoughts that come in my mind, and I'm going to be the observer of them. I don't need to react to them. I just need to observe them. That's it. Because that's all you are. You're just the observer of your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. They just come, and see what comes in. See if you get some ideas. See if you start to feel better. The goal is to feel 1% better. That's it. Just 1% better. A little tiny bit of relief. Because if you're already feeling stressed, you're just looking for some relief. And we think that $1 million would give us some relief. But when we have that $1 million, that brings responsibility. Then we got to figure out, where are we going to invest this to make us more money? What are we going to spend this on? And we think it's going to be fun, but then all of a sudden we have all these problems. So sometimes, and we call them problems, they're really not problems. It's just another learning experience for you to find out more about yourself by learning. Sometimes I think we self-sabotage because we look at the money as it feels unsafe to us for some reason. Or it feels like, oh, I don't know what I would do with that amount of money. That scares me. So really think about what your limiting beliefs are about money as well that might be keeping you from that. But I swear the easiest thing to do here is to dwell in the end. Think about your vision. But it goes back to that argument about the debate, I guess I'll call it, about living in the end versus changing your self-concept, which he mentioned self-concept in here, of course. And so I think you can manifest both ways. I just think that creating a solid self-concept, which means it's how you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself and what you assume about yourself. I think there's nothing better than feeling great about yourself and loving yourself. So $1 million does not compare to that. That is priceless. So that's why I like to focus on the self the most, because it's so priceless to feel good about you. And then it's like the $1 million is just icing on the cake at that point. You don't want to be a miserable person and be unhappy and have money. Like that doesn't work out very well. It really doesn't. And so you want to be happy and then have happy money come to you. Create happy money, not misery money. Because if you're miserable now and you create that $1 million, you're going to be miserable with $1 million. And then you're going to have all these like other issues that pop up because you attracted that to you when you were in a particular state. And unless you change your state, nothing's going to shift for you. So it's about shifting your state, shifting your mental state and dwelling there. Staying true to your vision. Again, stay on the gas. Don't gas brake. That's what we're doing. That's why we think that we can't get $1 million in a month. It really, truly is that. It's because we just cannot, we have the attention span of a goldfish, less than a goldfish, I think, which is like 5 or 6 seconds. We have such a crazy small attention span that we cannot focus our mind enough to actually dwell in the vision. And so eventually I'll probably do videos on how to focus your mind, create courses on that too. I think it's very, very important to learn to focus our minds, especially these days when everything is so, fast paced, like all the shorts and all the scrolling and oh my God, it really takes our attention away from what we're really wanting. So I do recommend doing the dopamine detox, as they call it, where you just kind of like look for the leaks in your ship. Because remember, if you have a leak in your ship, it's going to sink. And so look for the time leaks and the energy leaks in your world, in your life daily, like in your daily life. Look for those and replace those with deliberate imagination times. 10 minutes here and there. Just imagine some things that are just outlandish. Imagine people congratulating you, giving you hugs, and oh my gosh, that's amazing. And maybe you're doling out money to people. One fun thing that I was doing for a long time, and I ended up getting a lot of money from this, a lot of money. I used to pretend like when I was in the shower every day, I would go into my bank. It was my bank. This was my vault. And every day, I had these two people that were there, and I named them, and every morning we just had a conversation, and they're like, how much do you need today? And I'm like, oh, just 25,000 today, not a lot. And then they would count it out to me, and then I would count it back to them. And then that's a really cool way to manifest money. It worked for me. It was crazy how it all worked out. But if you do that before you go to sleep too, like count out $100,000, like feel the money. One of the best things to do is get a $100 bill and like really study it. If you don't have a $100 bill, get online and get a picture of one, and then get a dollar, like look at the $100 and smell a dollar that you have. Just smell that and look at it and really study it. And then when you go to bed, smell that smell, feel the way the dollar feels. Pretend like it's $100, just because they've done exercises where, somebody will tell you to imagine that you're eating a lemon and your mouth will start to salivate. Or imagine you have a red rose in your hand and you can actually smell it. If you put it to your nose, you can actually smell it. It's like your body and brain don't know the difference, whether that's real or imagined. So remember this. It's all imagination. And I promise you, when I learned all this, and I have studied, I'm a therapist, so I have studied literally like, I can't tell you how many hours, thousands of hours on any course you can probably think of, any therapy technique, any law of attraction, law of assumption, anything. Like I have just gone through all of it. And this is probably I would say, in my opinion, the most powerful thing to do is imagine, because we're imagining all day long anyway, and it's being projected out. So the best thing for everybody to do is try it, experiment with it, be your own evidence, and then you'll see. Just watch what happens. So I'll leave you with that today, or I could go on and on. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped you today. Let's do this for 30 days. And maybe I'll put it in the community tab that we're doing this for 30 days. And let's see what happens. And people can put their manifestations of money or opportunities. I mean, the possibilities are endless with this. So I'll stick something in there tonight. And yeah, you guys have fun with this. Have fun with your imagination. And I look forward to hearing all about what you guys are manifesting. I am so excited. Comment below if you do when you manifest something. Comment down below, or write down below what or type down below what you would like to manifest too. And we'll see what happens. And I'll be doing a lot more of these challenges later. I guess we could call this a challenge, 30-day challenge. So create your scene before bed, before you go to sleep. Create your scene. Start counting out those $100 bills in the shower. You're in the shower. You might as well think about something positive. So talk to your little bank people. You're in your own vault, and just 10 minutes during your day. Just either I would set aside some time for just quiet time, complete quiet time, or do a meditation, and also do maybe 5 to 10 minutes of an imaginal scene, something a little bit longer than the one you'll do before bed. Or you could combine all these things in one sitting. So, but just try some of these on for size and see what you think, see what works for you. Because this is all about what you resonate with. Because whatever you resonate with and what is personalized for you is going to work the best. So become your own evidence. Try it out. I'll talk to you later. Bye.